Video, we're going to talk about the basic interface of After Effects. And it can look pretty complicated right off the bat, but it's pretty simple to navigate once we get going. Let's start maybe by opening a project or entering in some new information to kind of make that work. So we have a project folder here, and this is where our footage files go. And the footage would be content like video clips and photos and music and graphic clips that we use to animate. So I'm just going to double click on this in that window, and it will open up a folder, and you can then navigate to find where you want to find content. I'm just going to grab a few of these things, and we'll just grab this demo file here. And what this will do is import these images, the graphics. And in some cases, they will ask you if they have a mask. So this is an alpha channel or a mask from a Photoshop file, and I want to keep that straight and unmatted, so I'm just going to hit OK. There's a few of those in here, so it brings those in. So you can see now we have our folder or project here, and we can organize this into folders if we want. So I wanted to make a new folder, name that images. I could move some of these around to help organize your type of content as you need. Another way to do that is to go to File and import file or multiple files, and it will do the same thing. So I can move this here and import files. So once we get some content here, you can see that when I click on a piece of content, it tells me what it is, the type of file, the color, the resolution, that kind of thing. So this is a Jupiter image that I took from the Hubble Space Telescope. And if you double click on this image, it will give you a footage view, and you can kind of see some of its details here. One important one that I like to look at, I'll put this down to 100 so you actually see it full size, is this little click here. It says Toggle Transparency Grid. And this is important if you're looking for content that has transparency in it. So this image has a alpha channel that is signifying that transparency, and that can be really nice when we need to animate and have some parts that are transparent. But if you wanted to actually see that, you can toggle this button here. So there's the basic footage window, and then we have the composition window, and we need to make a new composition. And what that will do is create a composition that we can then animate with. So if I click this button here, it will give this dialog. That also can be found here in Composition, New Composition. And it gives you a drop down of all sorts of different types of compositions that you want. So I'm going to use this HDTV 1080 at 2997. So this is the frame rate, and then that's the resolution. And then it also gives you some background color. I can specify that as black. It gives you a duration as well as square pixels. So when I create that, you can see I have a composition window with those dimensions, and it immediately created a timeline. And this is the timeline here, and you can see that we have the timeline is that duration. So it's about 10 seconds long. And so now if I wanted to add content, I can just drag this down into the layers section here, and it creates a piece of content on that layer. And you can see it's given a anchor point, which is its center point on this one right now, this piece of footage, and a bounding box. So those are areas that you can see where that, again, transparency is. And then you can see it also, because it's a still image, fills the entire timeline. And so as this goes over time, we can animate different things. So we'll get that in the next movie and we'll start talking about some of those. But we have other folders or palettes. So you have info palette here, a preview palette that will show you how your animation is going. You can play it and see how it works. We also have the effects palette, and these are kind of like where all the filters and effects are. And we'll get into some of those as well. And then we also have a render queue, and this is where we render our movie so we can actually watch it and distribute it. So we'll get into those in the next little movie.